monitoring period. But prior to this, when we visited some of the regions, we understand that Upper River region is been given a storage facility through the Roots project, which is situated somewhere, I cannot really remember the village, but you are benefited, and that particular storage facility is meant for the entire region. Also with extension workers, this is one thing that we're really looking at, because we believe the only time we can move agriculture to another level is to invest on the extension workers, to ensure that almost every other village has an extension worker. But then we will still continue to engage the Ministry of Agriculture to double up. You have also talked about our follow-ups with specific projects like Giraffe, Roots, and the like. Yes, we have been having engagements with them, not even only on the store, but on separate engagements to look at what impact they're making on our communities, more especially with our farming communities. And I believe as time takes, we will really get to where we want to be. For all Yundum, you have talked about the affordability of fertilizer and also selling it beyond our borders. There are serious engagements with the Ministry of Agriculture, and I want to believe that just 2 or 3 days ago, there was a pronouncement from the government of the day announcing that no fertilizer should be moved beyond our borders, and if anyone is found wanting, would face the full fledged of the law. So I think that's what we can do, and I'm also happy that the ministry is taking it upon themselves. He has talked about access to farmlands. Yes, these have been a challenge for almost every other farming community, but also we're working tirelessly with the Ministry of Agriculture to look at land development as a way to promote productivity. Also with SANE have highlighted about the issue of livestock. This particular report is strictly looking at the directorates and the Ministry of Agriculture in order to evaluate what they have been doing. So there is nothing about livestock. With Combo East, he has raised concerns for we to define the project scopes for him, and as well as the roles and responsibility of our regional agricultural directorates. And with our regional agricultural directorates, their rules are very simple. Their rules are to coordinate, supervise, and facilitate matters relating to agricultural activities in their respective regions or in our respective region. Lower Jaro Central, he has also talked about affordability and accessibility to fertilizer. We will continue to engage the Ministry of Agriculture to make fertilizer accessible to the people of Jara East, which we believe is of important. You have talked about farm machineries, that people are shifting from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture.
Honorable Member, your time is up. Yes, you have. Can you wind up within 20 seconds, please?
This is too small, Honorable. I'm not a devil. So I may wish to respond to every other member on your observations, but time wouldn't really allow me to do that. So on that note, I think my task here is to really appeal with members to adopt this report, one, but then also to appeal to this August Assembly for we to increase our budget allocations to the Ministry of Agriculture, considering the fact that they have made some very positive successes in the agricultural sector. So,
thank you. Thank you very much.
Someone want to...
Thank you, Honorable Member. Be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do adopt the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development to the regional directorates and other institutions under the Ministry of Agriculture. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Clerk, we may proceed.
Laying of papers and report. Report and resolutions of the National Assembly Petitions Committee on the petitions from concerned staff of the Gambia Tourism Board by the Honorable Chairperson of the committee.
Honorable members will recall that the Petitions Committee tabled this report during the first ordinary session of the Assembly in the 2024 legislative year. However, the Assembly could not adopt the report during the said sitting and referred back the document to the committee to further look into the petitions and possibly draw a resolution for the consideration of the Assembly. Now, fast forward to this current session. Precisely on Thursday, 11 July 2024, the committee was scheduled to table both the report and resolutions for the consideration of the Assembly. Unfortunately, at the particular sitting, honorable members had argued that most of them were without a copy of the report and thus appealed for an extension to enable the Secretariat print copies of the document for members. Therefore, honorable members, the committee is scheduled today to table both the report and resolution for the consideration of this Honorable Assembly. Honorable member, please table your report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm not sure whether you need to lay the report again and read the resolutions again, but only to...
Please, Honorable Member, go ahead, please.
But only to introduce the report because everybody has it and they've already read it and they've debated. So I believe anybody who wants to make an intervention there, you'll be able to come make your contribution. In terms of the resolution, if you want me to read it again, I can read it again, so that you refresh your memory and then be able to make your informed contribution.
The members have the copies of the resolution. You can just make your submission.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable Speaker, all I will do now is to allow the members to make their interventions. They can raise their questions, and then at the end of the day, I can make some clarifications. I thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Member for Latikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I thank the Tourism Committee for the wonderful job. Oh, petition. Thank you very much. Because I'm seeing GT, but I'm so emotionally attached to what I'm seeing in front of me. Let's go by your recommendations. Number one, I seconded the motion before I proceed, actually. I'm just reminded. Where you mentioned Mr. Usainu Senghor must be reprimanded by the Ministry of Tourism for misguiding the contract committee members by giving a wrong analysis of the financial performance, which eventually affected scoring of the evaluation process. The word reprimand, if you look at contractual arrangements, you look at award of contracts, you will realize that the performance, the negligent act, the omission or dishonesty of Mr. Usainu Senghor, in fact, led to the failure of Eco Lodge projects. Honorable Speaker, why I say this? If we intend to give contracts, we send request for proposal or request for quotation. By way of request for quotation and proposal, we put their qualifications, that is administrative compliance, technical compliance, and financial compliance. Based on these three qualifications as per bidding documents, contractors or suppliers now respond to this request for proposal or request for quotation on these three qualifications. If Mr. Hussein Senghor can mislead an entire committee, and I'm sure the committee based their evaluation based on the financial statement gave by Mr. Hussein Senghor. So why will the committee, somebody who performed a criminal act, can only be reprimanded? That is to tell the person, you are a very good person, but don't do this again. You have not been doing this again, don't do this again. That's how you reprimand people. People who, this Hussein Senghor doesn't deserve to be reprimanded. He should be recommended for prosecution. Now, if you go to where you said that the Gambia Tourism Board must be reprimanded for allocation.
Yeah, you are the second, can you finish? Please.
For us 3 hours. Yeah, put my mic on, please. Thank you very much.
No,
yes,
let me just make this clear.
Okay.
You know, the movers, if you move a motion or you table, you have most of the time to do that. But when you second, you are limited. You are not a mover of the motion. No, not here. We are, if it is a settled practice, I am departing from that practice. But I give you extra time to finish.
Now, I want to say more. Let me leave myself to where you said the Gambia Tourism Board must be reprimanded. How do you reprimand a body corporate? You must remove the veil and go for the principal actors in the corporation that are criminally liable. You cannot reprimand GT Board. How do you reprimand a body corporate? So therefore, we need to remove the veil and go for the people who are criminally liable, not the GPP as an institution. When you go further, where you said number 5, the GT Board must pay the supplier for the materials they will need without any further delay, and there should be an additional changes in the design. This recommendation is not a good recommendation. You don't even understand what you write here. Because for me, every contract that is not performed well must have variation. How do you reconcile the variation to the performance of the previous contractor? So that one, the recommendation is not a proper one. It's not proper at all. You also said the contractor must provide evidence of a payment of VAT, of FPAC on the amount that has been disbursed to him on or before. Why do we need to go for the contract? Why can't we go to GRA to supply us with that fact? You cannot go to the contractor. The contractor might not disclose those facts to you. So go to your government institution, could the GRA to supply you that particular information. Last but not the least, why are we also very lenient for Gambia Tourism Board to be supplying fuel coupon to a particular ministry or minister, and we can only say that the GPPA, the Gambia Procurement Authority, no, that's your last recommendation. The minister should also, that the GT Board must immediately stop fuel supply to the minister. In fact, it's not the ministry mentioned, but the minister and procurement secretary, Minister of Tourism and Culture on a weekly basis. The minister and these principal officers of the ministry should pay. You should calculate how much fuel coupon was given to them from the inception until the last, and they should be liable. They should pay everything back. They should not only stop. The Gambia Tourism Board should stop but they should also make sure the particular ministry, the particular minister, and all the principal officers mentioned in this report to pay everything back to the GP board, back to the national coffers. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report and resolution of the National Assembly Petitions Committee on the petitions from concerned staff of the Gambia Tourism Board. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Any honorable member who wishes to partake in the debate may do so by show of hands, beginning with the honorable member for Janjanbureh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you very much to the mover of the motion. To start with, I would have expected the chair of the said committee to address the outgoing minister for going before the public to question the credibility of your committee and this very report before us. And I would expect you to do that before the end of the day today. However, Honorable Speaker, I want us to look at how lands are allocated around the tourism development area. And in your resolution on page 3 on land allocation, one, it says the IGP must investigate the land issue to Mount Capital as a lease was acquired by the investor before paying the 5% levy. I want to believe that the committee already knew how that transaction was done. So I wouldn't really expect them to further ask either GPPA or the IGP to give them more information. What should have happened was to come up with actions that would help to address this specific problem, not to repeat itself. Also on staff employment matters, on page 2, it says that the Select Committee on Tourism and Ombudsman must monitor and ensure that all staff deployed and wrongfully terminated, dismissed as a result of the petition, are recalled to the head office. I want to inform this August Assembly and the committee that the staffs that are affected couldn't really resume back to work. And also there is an appeal before the court by the Gambia Tourism Board. Instead of taking up an action, they're still battling the matter before the court. So that also needs to be looked into and ensure that there is sanity on the matter. Also on number 3 on page 2, the Auditor General must institute staff auditing to commence from January 2017 to December 2013 to ascertain the way and manner appointment and promotions are done. I think these are already clear to us. We know how employments used to take place at the Gambia Tourism Board and how promotions are done. What I would have recommended would be those that were affected for them to be reinstated to their rightful positions, but then not otherwise. I think my time is up.
Thank you. Member for Bakau, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I thank the mover of the motion together with his committee members. Honorable Speaker, I have an observation that I want to share with honorable members as well as the committee members. On staff matters, on staff employment matters, where they stated that the Select Committee on Tourism and the Office of the Ombudsman must monitor and ensure that all senior staff employed and wrongfully terminated or dismissed as a result of the petition are recalled. I'm not very sure, but then I asked a hotel worker, at one time a hotel worker, we were once engaged or once had a problem with our management team, of which we were about to engage the Office of the Ombudsman. But when we approached the Office of the Ombudsman, we were told that their mandate does not cover hotels. So I'm not sure whether the committee have made any findings when it comes to the Office of the Ombudsman for interventions. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, on the GT board head office complex as well, we were all made to understand that the Tropic building was supposed to be an office to accommodate a GT board together with the Office of the Ministry of Tourism. But all of a sudden, we all realized that the hotel is now being used, the Tropic building is now being used as a shop. So with the recommendations, with the resolutions from the committee, it indicates that the IGP must investigate.
Honorable, what I didn't get that clear. The Tropic building
Yes.
belongs to government? Or?
No. It was supposed to accommodate the office of the GT board together with the Ministry of Tourism. But now the building is changed to shops. Are you with me?
Yeah, but I
The
don't
trop-
understand.
the
Yeah, but
trop-
I don't understand that.
The Tropic building,
Was it an agreement between government and the owners or what?
no, it was supposed to be accommodating the office of the GT board and the ministry. Now it's changed to a shop. Are you with me? Sorry?
I mean, go ahead. You should tell us who owns it.
Yes,
And how
that's-
was that Richard? And why that is not happening now?
This is what the resolution is saying now. I'm coming to the resolution that the recommendation that comes from the committee that the IGP must investigate initial contract of the head office of the GT board.
I think I used some of his time, not so. Yes, you can give him 1 more minute.
And Tropics and what have been signed on the new head office built by the contract company limited and report back to FPAC on or before the 1st of December. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Member for Serekunda West, you have the floor. Oh, yes, sorry, member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would want the members to, when they are making comments, let them mention the particular resolution, and if you mention the topic and then the resolution, then
The particular number, whether resolution number 9, resolution number 3, or resolution number 1. Please use your mic, sir.
Resolution number 1 of page 4. Yeah, on the GT board head office complex. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Member for Serekunda West, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on resolution 4 on the ecologists contract, the committee's investigation shows that the state has really lost millions of dollars because the contract was given and then it was abandoned. I think the resolution there is valid, that it has to be investigated because these monies are taxpayers' money. So we cannot just allow it to go like that. Especially in millions, these millions can really do a lot for the state. So, but also we must also continue with actions, not only resolutions and leave them lying down there like that. Honorable Speaker.
Member for Serekunda West. The member for Woolly East. Order. The member for Woolly East, you ask members to ask questions and to propose suggestions, and that they are contributing, you are not listening to them. Please, member for Serekunda West, continue.
Yes, I was just saying, if I could repeat that, since his attention was, I was saying your recommendation on the 4, on the ecology contracts, is a valid recommendation, and it really has to be taken seriously because it is costing the state millions of dollars. Our economy is struggling. We are struggling with a very weak economy, so therefore every butut counts, especially if it is in the millions. So this needs to be properly investigated, and the law should take its course. And on number 6, on the same resolution on ecologists, where we said the whole contract went underperformed.
So I would skip that because some speakers have touched on that. I go to on the staff employment, where it says that deployed and he said that the Select Committee on Tourism and Ombudsman must monitor and ensure that all the senior staff deployed wrongfully must be. This is very important because this is protection of witnesses. If this is not done, any further activity of any committee can be affected because witnesses are not protected. If a witness can voluntarily give evidence and all of a sudden the senior officers on top of that particular ministry or section desire to punish them by way of deploying them outside, then that means we are not protecting our witnesses. So therefore, that recommendation also hold water, and I strongly support that we go into that. And last but not the least is on point 5 of the same ecologist, where recommendation 5 said the Ministry of Tourism must immediately desist from taking major decisions in the operations of the GT board without channeling it to the, I think we should discourage interference. If we have a...
Yeah, go ahead.
Instituted board, therefore I think the ministries, whichever ministry that is, should allow the boards to do their work without any interference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And honorable members, on witnesses, if your work, according to the Constitution and the standing orders, is to invite witnesses on a subject matter, and thereafter they are being victimized, I think the honorable members should look at that seriously, and that is against the Constitution. They must be protected as like any other witnesses before this assembly. I now give the floor to the member for Upper Salon.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, the Chair of the committee. Now, if you look at these recommendations here, I think the first one was already mentioned by the member for Latikunda, that the GT board must pay supplies for the materials they would need without any delay. I think this is a very serious matter. We need to be really very careful what we are recommending. It could be a variation in the contract. We are not sure. So just to say that they need to pay them without actually having a clear understanding about why they need to be paid, I think we need to be very careful of that one. Now, on number 4, on page 1, number 5. On the same page, also number 4, the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, must investigate who gave the authority. I mean, why do you want to put FPAC into this all together? You've already spoken, the Committee on Tourism actually have already spoken to them. They've investigated, they have a report. Now, why do you want FPAC to come into the foray and have to start all over again? So I think the committee that make the report should have completed their work. So there's no need for FPAC to come into this thing here. Because if we do, we are starting from ground zero again. Do the investigation again. You've already spoken to the witnesses and you knew exactly what has transpired. Just make a recommendation and then we move. Now on page 2, which is here about the payment of the VAT. Again, I don't think that's also very necessary. If we need to know whether they have paid or not, it's just a matter of asking GRA to give us evidence that they have paid VAT. Otherwise, we ask them to follow the unpaid. So there's no need for us to, us to do that. Now, number 8, also, the FPAC must investigate GPPA's reason for approval of GT board. Again, why do you have to get FPAC into this again? You've done all the investigation. You've spoken to all the witnesses again. So I think it's the best committee, it's the Committee on Tourism that started the whole process, and let them continue the investigation together with, with the other one. Now on number 10, henceforth government must, if you want to debar a company, you've registered legally, you're doing business with government legally, there's a process, a procedure to follow, as indicated by GPPA Act of 2022. The process of debarment must be done by GPPA. Let's be very specific. Let GPPA investigate, and if they found them wanting, they can be debarred, but that was based on law, and that's on the GPPA Act. So we need to be really very careful. That's number 10. The GPPA must investigate and debar them if there's a need on the layer group. Now the last one also on page 3, that is on land allocation in tourism, that the executive must set up an independent commission. Not the executive. You tell the president directly. Who are the executive? I mean, the executive component is a lot of things. If you want the president to set up that, then you indicate the president. If you want the minister of tourism to do that, you indicate the minister of tourism. Let's be very specific. That is on number one on land allocation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Chair, I'm not sure if you are taking note of whether you will go back and look at those issues again or not. It's for the Assembly to decide, like as suggested by the member for Serekunda West, Upper Salum, Latikunda. This was assigned to a committee, and the same committee want to throw it back to another committee again. Now, the member for Busumbala, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We commend the committee, petition committee, for this resolution. I will refer the chairman to resolution under the staff employment matters, resolution 5, that the Minister of Tourism must immediately desist from taking major decisions on the operation of the GT board without challenging it through the governing body. Yes, under this particular matter, I want to ask the chairman of the committee, who is the board chair of this governing body, and what is his position currently? What is it been sacked? Because there are informations that the person who is the chair of this body is also been sacked. Is that true? And if it is true, why? And who is responsible for his sacking? And this is very important because, it will ensure that proper procedures are taken before someone will be subjected to dismissal by an individual. Another resolutions on the land allocation in the tourism development, that resolution 4, that the IGP must investigate the land issue to Mova Capital Limited as the lease was acquired by the investors before paying the 5% levy. If the procedures are established for a particular requirement to be met before issuance of that document, and it has been flouted, it's a criminal act. And we will definitely, I'll concur with your recommendations, and we make a follow-up, the IGP to investigate this, because a 5% levy is for the development project within the tourism development areas. If you deprive them from that money, and they have already have just a percentage of that money, and another percentage may be pocketed into the wrong hands or wrong pockets. So that need to be investigated so that we know if they did not pay all the 5%, there should be an enforcement for this 5% levy to be paid to the Tourism Development Board so that they can carry on other development. Another resolution on staff employment matters, the Select Committee on Tourism and Ombudsman must monitor and by other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. The member for Basse, you have the floor. The member for Sanamentring, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are a few things that I would like to talk about. But first, this is very, very important that when we deal with resolutions in this parliament, resolutions are not implemented, and I don't know why. I am asking myself, and I hope other members will equally ask themselves why we have resolutions and we have recommendations, very important recommendations, and they are not implemented. No response from them. It's very, very important. Honorable Speaker, having said that, I will thank the committee for coming up with very good resolution regarding the report of their committee. And then also looking at the GT board head office complex contractual agreement. it was mentioned by an honorable member that there was a structure which the Minister of Tourism has to be using, but then instead it came the opposite way. And there is a this thing, the IGP must investigate the initial contract of the head office of the GT board at the tropics and what have been signed on the new head office built by the structure company limited, construct company limited rather, and report back to FPAC on or before the 1st December. Yes, I agree with Honorable Member for Oposalum by indicating that FPAC should be responsible for any other investigation or whatsoever. But then we equally want to know, we should be ready enough to find out if this is really the case by the investigation of the IGP. Equally, we would like to know if this is true, that this building should have been utilized by a ministry and instead it became shops. We would want to know where that money, on which account that money is really going into. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, this is the points that I have observed. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Member Poponyi Bintang Karanai, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The recommendation of the committee is weak, but still we will go by what we have. On page 41, on conflict of interest at the GT board, the minister was asked whether he was aware of the conflict of interest that existed at the GT board. And also you look at the down part where the minister's son was also employed. I think that is clearly what we refer to as nepotism. There is no clear definition. There is no clear definition of nepotism that could be better than this. Now, for instance, before you come into a ministry, your son was not qualified to be in the ministry. Now you are there, that is the time your son is qualified to be in that ministry. That is the height of nepotism as a country. When you are looking at the country, how many people are qualified for the same position that you are talking about? And in looking at the petition that was written to the petition committee, you should have looked at it neutrally in a neutral ground. The committees of the National Assembly should be the ground of the country and should be neutral and partial in all its dealing without any interference. And that is what we want all the committees to stand on. The son of the minister may be qualified, but there are thousands and thousands of Gambians that are qualified for the same position. Why are they not employed? But specifically, you went and picked the son of the minister. Okay, on staff matters, employment matters, 43, you go to number 6. Minister of Tourism should immediately desist from taking major decisions on the administration of the GT board without channeling them through the governing body. Now, is it that the minister did not know his responsibility? Is it that the minister did not know his role? How is he appointed as a minister? That's question. Because as a minister, you are expected to know your role, your responsibilities, what you should do and what you should not do, where your powers end and where they begin. And that nobody should tell the minister. And now you want us to tell the minister, and the same virus is transferred from Ministry of Tourism to the Ministry of Lands. Such a nation, how do you want to develop that? Honestly speaking, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard. I thank you, sir, very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. The member for Brikama South, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to correlate this to page 41 of the report. Conflict of interest. If you look at it, the minister was asked whether he was aware of the conflict of interest that currently exists at GT board, and he said that is total false because the director of finance at GT board and the permanent secretary happen to be husband and wife by incident, and said that it did not affect their work at all because they are professional and we are guided by responsibility within their terms of reference. So if you look at this thing, the committee recommendation when you come to a resolution. I think this is very, very important. The committee, that the governing board of GTB must formulate a policy document to address this issue of conflict of interest to ensure the spouse, mother, father, or son and daughter does not participate in board meeting that concerns their interest. I think this policy direction formulation is very, very important. I'm a little bit worried if we can attach timeline to this. If the policy does not address this thing, we need to put timeline when this policy needs to be formulated in order to avoid this thing. Because if you look at father-son or mother-son relationship is very, very important. You cannot be professional to a certain level. Enforcement of it almost becomes impossible. And that is why this needs to be addressed if we can put a timeline attached to this. That's what I have. I submit to Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Kiang West, you have the floor.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. And I want to thank Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai for definitely saying the truth and doing justice to the report. And you are a true hero. And I admire your work very well. Honorable Speaker, the one person who has been adversely mentioned in this report is the Honorable Minister. Repeatedly, who got involved in actions which are beyond his remit. There is a limit beyond which he cannot go as a minister by law. And he violated that firmly in the report when you look at it. He has been adversely mentioned. But when you look at the recommendations about that, this said individual, very, very linear. Very linear indeed. Honorable Speaker, for us to ensure that impunity does not thrive in our offices, we must start holding people to account for their actions. Highly qualified staffs with double masters in social research and economic policy management were penalized, redeployed, just because they protest for the well-being of the institution. Honorable Minister, this must stop. And any minister, whoever is doing it, must stop it. Interference in contract awardings were issues. Appointment of your personal, your biological son in the institution. In fact, you can stand publicly and admit that. Subhanallah. You don't even care about it. This country must change, and we will continue to speak in this parliament. If anybody do not want that, vote us out next parliamentary term. We will continue to speak in this parliament, spending millions so that we can be voted out. I don't care about it. But Honorable Speaker, impunity cannot thrive in our offices. Public officers must act responsibly. Not allowing people to pay tax is one of the most dangerous crimes, as alluded to by Honorable Member for Busumbala. You drive in, stopping our national, our country from development.
May I now call upon the mover to respond to issues and provide any suggestion or proposal, and then why not the debate?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to, the first member that contributed is Talinding, member for Talinding. And he was speaking on Resolution 1. Latrikunda. Resolution 1 is is citing that it is negligence because it's a failure on the side of the contracts. And he's saying reprimand is too light. Well, we can look for another word, but the reality is there that we believe that the role played by the Hussein Senghor was to kind of mislead the committee to take a decision. And that's why they have taken the decision they have taken. So the name is Hussein Senghor, the chair of the committee that actually does that contracts. Now, the way we see reprimand is we just saying punishment. But if you are giving us the legal definition of reprimand, so you can give us the right word in there. You also say in 5 that the GT board should pay. We are saying the GT board should supply the contractor so that the contractor can go and do the rest of his work. That's what we are saying, and that should be as soon as possible. As soon as possible. There should not be any delay in that. Otherwise, the contracts will suffer more. You're saying why are we going to the contractor and not to the GPA to ask for? I don't know what you are asking for there. You are speaking very fast. GRA. We're going to GRA instead of the contractor should pay VAT. So we've not got information that he has paid VAT, but whatever contracts he has, whatever money he has, he should pay VAT out of that. So we want to ensure that the VAT is paid. That's all that what we are saying. For Janjambure, he's saying it's unfortunate. On land allocation, 5% levy. Yes, the thing is, let's understand that very well. If I am an investor and I need land for investment in the TDA, I apply to the GT board. It depends on the size of the land now. If the land is, for example, 100 by 100 by 100 by 100, and they ask me, what am I going to invest in that land? And I said, I want to build a 5-star hotel. And then they asked me to give them the cost of the 5-star. And I give them, for example, 100 million. This rule is saying 5% of 100 million, is the levy that I should pay. So what is happening is that the minister comes up with directives and say, okay, you should pay, for example, 5% of 100 million, which is $5 million, but then I will waive 2% for you, or I'll waive 1% for you, or I'll waive 3% for you. That's what this is about. And if you waive it for that person, it means that it is the state which is losing. That's what this 5% is about. So it is not about the size of the land, but it's about the investment that we are putting on the land. So if there is losses there, we are saying, because the minister is claiming that it is the cabinet that authorized him to do that. And we are recommending that that should not happen. Because if I'm investing 50 million and I pay 5%, somebody who has more money and is investing 100 million, you are asking that person to pay only 2%. We are saying that is not fair, and it is making the government to lose. So we should look into that. On staff employment, our recommendation is that the staff, not the ones that are dismissed because of one reason or the other, but the staff that were redeployed to other places because of their complaint or because they wrote a petition to the National Assembly, they should be taken back to their jobs. Because the people we found on the ground, their qualifications are far lower than the people who are punished, taking them there. For example, the one in Basel is a very qualified person. But the ones we found at Janjambure and other places, when these other people were left the place, then those people, their positions were, their qualifications were very low. In fact, some of them did not even finish their studies. For Bakau, he is also talking about staff matters. whether the ombudsman deals with hotels. We are not talking about the hotels, we are talking about GT board staff. And the GT board staff is under the government. It's just it's under the Ministry of Tourism. So the ombudsman, we've employed the services of the ombudsman to look at the staff, the issue of staff. And they've recommended that let the staff be paid all the remuneration they have lost. You know, at some point, the minister made a directive and said all the staff should go home. And when they all went home, then all of a sudden they call some of the staff to come and work, and they continue to pay them full salary and full allowances. But the ones that were left there are mainly the people who've made the complaint, and they were paid 50% of their income. And we are saying that 50% that is left behind should be reimbursed to the staff for justice to be done. And they should be returned to their work, not to be punished for that. For Serakunda ecologists, a lot of money, if you check it, a lot of money is being wasted. I think the report has already explained that. We are only recommending that that should be look at the losses that are done, because we have not done the calculation. And that's why we are involving the FPAC, because we expect them to be more competent in doing that calculation than us. And we have a right to, as a committee, we are a petition committee. We can give assignment to any committee of the National Assembly. We can give assignment to the minister. We can give the assignment to any other competent body, just like we did it to the ombudsman. So if we feel that you are competent, if you feel that you are not competent enough, then we can look for an alternative. But you are running away from responsibility. Okay, yes, let's move on. Ministers interfering, Serakunda West, yes. We've already identified, the report has shown wherever he intervened, and that's why we are recommending that since that is not in the law, the ministers should not interfere and just come and give directives to the board, but should inform the board and discuss with the board, and they agree on the same thing. But what the board is telling us is that this is a directive from the minister. We are saying there should not be any directive from the minister directly like that, but there should be, he should make suggestions to them, and they should work together to be able to solve those problems. Yes, I've already answered your question in terms of petition. Upper Salon, that's the reason why we are giving you this assignment. And if we are giving other assignments to the police, we are giving other assignments to the ombudsman, etc., etc. We are a petition committee. I think when we have done our findings, we should be able to give assignment to the competent bodies to be able to solve that. We are recommending to the plenary to give you. That's our recommendation. Yes, VAT. The contractor is supposed to pay VAT. We have no evidence that the contractor has paid VAT. So we are saying every effort should be done. FPAC contact these people to ensure that the contractor, if he pays, that's fine. If he does not pay, we ensure that he pays VAT to government, because that is a requirement in the contract. GPPS should land allocations. There is this question about tropics. It's better to clarify it. You know, the GT board had a contract with a contractor, and they award the contract to the person, and they pay the person to build tropics, and they give land to the contractor, and the contractor build the land. You know, the other parts belong to the contractor, but then they also embed in the contract that the GT board should have a head office in that big building. And then the building is done until it is gone very far, and then the change of government has come, and then a new minister is in the tourism, and then he is the one who gave them directive to abandon that office and have another contract with the contractor to build their head office. I think if you are on Kairaba Avenue, you are going from Kotu, you will see their new head office in that place. So the guy built that office for them. But then what happened to the office that is left at the original building at the tropics is left in the hands of the investor.
Honorable Chair.
So,
Honorable Chair.
Yeah?
Yeah, please put up the mic. If I hear you well, you said the original contract, the land where Tropic is given to them by GT board. And the money to build that facilities also is given to them by GT board. Is that?
When you...
No, please, can you be on record to answer my question? The land was given to them by GT board and the money to build Tropic. Is that correct?
But the
Chair, is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. I'm saying it's correct. I'm saying the GT board had put something like $200 and something thousand, and then the contractor also put in his amount. But the land was given to him by the GT board. Now,
yes.
We have to be very careful what we put in the record. The question put to you was, the money given given to Tropics to do that construction was given by GT board to Tropics. Now you're talking about counterpart funding. In your statement, you said no part of it was given by GT board and part of it Tropics. So clear that point, please.
let's accept that the contract is between the GT board and the investor. The investor had an investment to do, and he's provided land by the GT board. But the GT board also gave money, an amount, to the contract, to the investor, that when he is building his complex, let him also include their office building, so that they will also be part of that complex. Now, which also includes a garage under, a parking lot.
Yes.
Now, when the new minister comes, he...
Okay, before the new minister.
Yeah.
The land at Tropic was given free to the contractor.
Yes.
Plus over $13 million. That's over $200,000.
Yeah.
To build. And now, was that the contract abandoned? And now, who owns the Tropic?
Yes. Now, that is the reason why we are raising this. Now, that whole complex, as far as the GT board is concerned, and the minister, belong to the investor. That's what happened. Now, it is the property of the investor.
Including government lands and government money.
Everything there in that complex now is is owned by the investor. In exchange for building another complex, another office for them. In exchange for building another office for them, can we have order?
Honorable members, order, please. Order. Order, please.
Read the report.
Now,
the report.
It's on the report, we can look at it. In
Yes.
exchange of building another complex.
Another office for them. So we are saying...
Office, was that costed as per the cost of the land where Tropic is, plus our $13 million.
So we are saying that calculation must be done so that we know whether government has lost. Cost-benefit analysis must be done there so that we know what government has lost. And if government has lost, then we have to take action towards that loss, because government should not lose. Yeah. Yes, I think it's... He's saying... Sani Mentor, I think it's the last person. Well, that's what I was explaining, Sani Mentoring, who is asking about the tropics, how the whole situation has gone. So it's so messy, because you take a contract to a certain level, and then somebody comes and say, add this there, and another time, add this there, and that has created a confusion, which made government to lose in our belief, and therefore we are recommending that let it be looked at. Now, for I think it's Councillor, minister's son employed. We've interrogated the minister about his son being employed at the GT board, and he believes that it's Bintang Karana. He believes that his son is a citizen and he should be employed in that place. But we put it to him that this is, will have a conflict of interest, because the petitioners are saying that the guy did not even write an application. He was just employed. And we feel that that is something that needs to be corrected. It should not be something that should continue. That's why we are recommending that ministers should desist. And there should be that. Brikama South, conflict of interest, yes. There is an investor. And that investor, I believe it is his relative who is in the board. And therefore, we believe that if that type of thing happens, there can be favoritism. And that's why we are saying this conflict of interest issue should be addressed. Yeah, you are talking about, yeah, I'm coming to that. Yeah, we should now think together and give a timeline. But we believe that in terms of addressing the issue, when they build the committee, we are recommending that they create a commission, a land commission of some sort, to look into all these things. And then if we recommend that another commission or another committee can look into that, or we think together what we can do about that. But there's already a conflict.
Honorable Chair, I'm not getting you. Are you saying, Honorable Chair, are you saying inquiry on the allocation of Tropic or an inquiry of what?
The member is raising the issue of conflict of interest at the GT board, which we said should be addressed. You cannot have the permanent secretary and the director sitting in the same board when they all have issue in that issue. That's why we are saying those things they must put in their mind to avoid that type of thing. It's just a caution. That's how we see it. They are just cautioning them that should not continue. Kiang West, the minister has been adversely mentioned. Yes, it has been mentioned everywhere. That's why we are making some recommendations. So if you have any recommendation you think we need to add, you should come up with a recommendation. But we have done the best that we think we should do. Interference at the contract awarding. Well, we've seen that the GT board also, GBPA, recommending to the contracts committee to say, give all these 5 lodges, divide it into 5 lots and give 1 lot to each contractor so that the work can be faster. The implementation can be faster. But then the GT board decided to go and give all the 5 lodges to 1 contractor. And up to now, these projects are not completed. In fact, some of the projects are not even identified where they are going to put these things. So we have all these problems. And that's why we said we need to create a lands committee, some sort of inquiry to be able to put all these things in order. And we have assigned different sectors to do different jobs to be able to address this issue so that it does not reoccur again. I thank all the members who have participated. I thank all the members who have listened to this point, and we thank you very much.
Honorable Speaker, motion. Honorable Speaker, motion.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, the minister held a press conference and he was talking about our report even before we are done with the report. The procedure is you lay a report here, it is debated, recommendations are done, resolutions are drawn, and then the minister responsible should come here to respond to the issues raised. But then he called a press conference to make a pronouncement against the report. For us, all that I heard about him saying is that the petitioners are politicians. They are politicians, and he said that they are my colleagues. Bias. They are biased. That they are biased and they are politicians and they belong to a political party that I belong to. And that he had told me to recuse myself from the inquiry because I am from the same political party with them. That is a lie. I don't even know those people. I never knew them before they come before us. That's not true at all. And he has never told me to recuse myself. That's also not true. So I want to be on record that what he has said, that he has spoken to me in any way, is not true. I've never spoken to him anyhow. On that note, I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, motion. Very much, Honorable Speaker.
Motion. Motion,
Yes,
Honorable Speaker.
please, the member for Latikuna Savage.
Yes, hence the chairperson for the petition committee advised us to give him our ideas on how do we reinforce the resolutions. Here I come with few resolutions so that we can add onto their resolutions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, you said you're on a motion.
Yes, I want to come by way of motion, 53K. A motion agreed by the Speaker to be a matter of urgency, and this is very urgent.
Yes, you said motion, but you didn't say any motion. You just said.
This is why I'm now rising on 53K.
What is your motion?
My motion is for us to reinforce the resolution adopted by the petition committee before in the plenary. My resolutions are here. My proposals rather. Mr. Usainu Sangor being responsible for misleading the contract committee, which subsequently led to the award of a contract to a long contractor, which led to the failure of ECO project to be recommended for criminal investigation and prosecution. Number two, the Gambia Tourism Board as a corporate institution cannot be criminally liable, or we cannot only reprimand them. I therefore recommend for the people who are responsible for this criminal act to also be recommended for criminal prosecution. Three, all the variation order of the contract.
Honorable members, please. Honorable member for Latikuna Savage.
Yes.
There are during the intervention. Yeah, please sit down. During the intervention of the chair, during his response to issues, it looks like he suggested that the recommendation be enhanced. I'm not sure if that is what he wants. That's what his committee wants first before we give members to go further on proposing amendment. Do we adopt it with amendment, or do we, as a House, propose now for members to give him those proposals? I'm not sure. That's what we should look at first, so that procedurally we are in order. Yes, member for Olundum.
I think you said exactly what I wanted to say. The resolution before us, I think we can approve it with amendment, and then further actions can be taken, but not to just jump and do some amendment on the resolution right now for us to adopt that. I think that is out of order. We can. Yeah, when I am talking, you keep quiet, please. I think what we can do is to consider the resolution with amendment, and then we move on, but not to make any suggestion on the resolution right now for us to adopt that. I think that will be out of order.
Member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I think whatever amendment that we would adopt the resolution with should be on the floor today. The amendments should not be vague. When we say amendments, what are the amendments? We should tell those amendments. We should propose them. Whether the Parliament agrees on the amendment or not, that is left with the plenary. But the amendments should be proposed today. And when we have amendments that we definitely want to propose, Honorable Speaker. But I think it's definitely important so that we propose amendments. If the plenary agrees, that's it. If they don't agree, that's it. But the amendments should be proposed. We should not leave it at vague.
Yes, honorable members, I think it will be appropriate if amendments are made, whether now or later, but they should come back to Parliament for plenary's approval. They must not be given cash balance or an open check, because we must also know what amendments are there after our approval for them to go and amend it. Do we approve it with amendment, but they should come back to Parliament on Monday or Tuesday? Or because if we approve that they go and do amendment, whatever amendment they want, it will represent Parliament, and then maybe we may not be privy to those amendments. So, yeah, the member for Janjamure, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Considering the fact that we're going for recess, and also considering the fact that this issue has been dragging for over 2 or 3 years, I just want to appeal to members that we try to expedite this process and also bring sanity to the matter. As such, my recommendation or my proposal will be for we to adopt the report with amendment and bring it forward latest Monday.
Honorable members, now the decision is yours, Monday or Tuesday, or do you give them to go and do the amendment and that's it? Decide. Member for Woolly is and chair.
Yes, because members want to add something or deduct something. So I believe if we are going to do it that way, then any member who feels that you want to add something or deduct something, you should put it in writing and give it to us, so that there is no ambiguity. Okay, thank you.
Honorable members, yes, I think we do that, and then because of time, we can give him up to Tuesday instead of Monday. He can bring on Tuesday so that yes, and then we should also know that he is not obliged to accept every proposal from every member. Yes, nominated member Kebalang for.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to differ with the chairman. You see, we had a precedence in this parliament. I think the COVID-19 report, the resolutions were late here. And before we adopted them with amendments, the amendments were brought forth on the floor. So there should be transparency in the process. If members have recommendations to improve on these resolutions, I think it's only fair that let them come with it so that we all know. Because as a member of the committee, how do I verify that it's coming from A, it's coming from B? And bearing in mind that this thing have generated a lot of controversy. So as a house, we shouldn't allow anything that goes under anymore. Whatever we do with regards to this report, let it come here. We all agree on it or we all reject it. But I'll appeal, as proposed by Larikunda Savidi, anybody who have proposals to improve on these resolutions, bring them to the floor, then the committee can go back, do those amendments, bring it to the House for approval. This is, yeah.
Yes, nominated member Kebalang Fofana, that is why in my intervention I said it will only be ideal if amendments are made and brought back, and then the assembly agreed. They said we'll propose to the amendment, but the mode of proposals, whether we do it now or we send it to them, and the committee, you look at it and come back. And I think the general, there seems to be consensus that members will send in their proposal for amendments, and then he will invite the committee, they'll incorporate, but he will not be obliged to incorporate every amendment they receive, and then they come back on Tuesday instead of Monday. I think that's what we agreed. Member for Atikunda, I want to draw the curtain here, but I'll allow you to take the floor once more.
Allow me to take the floor to go with my recommendations or the questions I have for you. Because what I want us to be, I want us to be very clear. When we recommit anything to the committee came back to report to us in this plenary. It is number one for our consumption, number two for our processing, and number three for our information. And how do we react to what they tell. Now, if you decide that we should go back behind the scene and give recommendations to the committee, this is the plenary, this is the final decision-making body. So it's better in the full disclosure of our facts, all the proposals are put in the plenary so that everybody knows this was the proposal. Now to the discretion of the committee to put, in fact, the committee cannot even decide, override the decision of the plenary. So it's better we put the resolutions here, we put our proposals here instead of going behind the scene and give them our proposals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member for Latikunda. That is why, and I have not decided them to do things the way you put it now. In fact, my suggestion was for every member to have input, but they must come back to the plenary. That's what I said. It's loud and clear, everybody heard. And I think that's what we agreed on. Now, nominated member Kebalang Fofana and probably yourself now, your proposal is probably to do it now here, and there's proposal to do it later, but to bring it back. So these are the two things on the floor. It's for members to decide, not me. The proposals are: one, to every member who want to improve or enhance, or if you have anything, the objective is to embellish the resolutions. And then, but you can do that through the share. But they will incorporate every resolution that a number they want to enhance and come back here on Tuesday. We have already established that they'll come back on Tuesday. We agreed on that. But if you and the nominated member are suggesting to do it here, it's not for me. If there are two proposals and the two sides, none of the side is willing to withdraw, I can put it to vote. But if you agree to submit your proposal and nominated member Kebalang as well to the chair, we incorporate it and come back on Tuesday. There will be no need for vote. Nominated member Kebalang Fofana, what's your position now? Thank you, sir.
No, I just want to clarify. I'm a member of the petitions committee. I wouldn't necessarily submit a resolution. So, I mean, in the spirit that I was speaking, it's based on the fact that let resolutions come. It will be up to the members here to accept it or not. And whatever is accepted by the House here is what the committee would go back, make the additions, bring it back to the House for adoption. Rather than receiving the resolutions in piecemeal and coming back here and generating another debate. But if we debate on it here, if someone makes a proposal, we have the right to debate on it as members. We have the right to accept it. We have the right to reject it. Let us finish that process today, so that when the committee goes back, it's just going back to do exactly what the House orders them to do.
Thank you. There are two proposals from the nominated member and member for Latikunda is to do it here now. And the other proposal is for members to submit it and come back. They all is the same, because once you are proposing now, you are going to debate on those proposals. And also, if you give it to the chair, you make it easy, incorporate it, we come back and look at those proposals. It's the same. So, Honorable Member, now, do we want us, Honorable Members, before we vote?
Okay, Chair, I've withdrawn my position.
Oh.
Okay, mine is out.
Oh, thank you. Honorable Member Latikunda, do you still hold on to your...
I am more committed to my position now than before.
The member for Janjambure, I may reprimand you for interfering with the honorable member for Latikunda's position. But it looks like he's alone, so therefore we will allow the... Please, honorable members, please. I will put a question that we will allow the chair and the committee to go back for members to give in their proposal for inclusion on the recommendation and come back on Tuesday. Then we vote on that. The proposal is that the report and resolutions on the petition filed in by concerned staff to the Standing Committee on Public Petitions both the report and the resolutions will allow members to put in their suggestion and proposal. Then the chair of the committee will table it on Monday for adoption. On Tuesday for adoption. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I want to thank each and every one of you, and of course, the members of our staff and the press. It has been a long day. I now want to put the question, be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 22nd July 2024. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stand adjourned until Monday, 22nd July 2024 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Ku yor du sa xët te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi make-up artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay make-up product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofu sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it bégal sa alaaji aas